looking at the longer term time horizon, are we still in the early stages of a gold bull market? Was it starting to get overbought? Is this pullback temporary? How are you currently viewing the gold sector?
The last major bull market lasted more than a decade. That was from the around 2000 to 2011 or 12. So we're very much in the early stages, in my view. I'm not saying the next one will last 10 years or 12 years. I think it could last infinitely longer because we're in a phase now where the monetary expansion is likely to carry on ad infinitum. The levels of government debt are likely to grow ad infinitum. And I think that in itself probably means that the gold price continues to rise for the very long term until something breaks.
And how are you viewing the silver market right now? Because silver, a metal that has disappointed many, especially if you've been holding since 2013. It was only recently we saw a return to those price levels adjusted for inflation, obviously lower than that. And now we're back down to just above $30 an ounce. The cries of manipulation obviously come out at this point. In your view, how manipulated is the silver market, and what will it take for silver to get back to previous all-time highs?
I have never been able to discover any evidence of manipulation. I mean, I'm not close enough to the market to say that's true. Certainly there are sellers who go short in the market, and that would include some very big boys with deep pockets. But I would rather look at the supply and demand and where silver's going. Now, a lot of people have got their eye on a $50 price. And the reason they got their eye on a $50 price is because that's where it peaked back in the 1980s. But if we adjust that number for inflation, that $50 price really should be well over 100, perhaps 150 or something like that. So how high can silver go? I think it can go an awful lot higher. The real situation we got with silver is a supply and demand imbalance. The industrial demand plus cutlery, jewelry demand exceeds the mine supply. The mine supply of silver has been dropping for the last decade. It dropped. It's lower now than it was a decade ago, and it continues to drop. Whereas at the same time, the demand for silver, particularly from electronics, is rising rapidly. So the electronics use of silver, driven in part by the photovoltaic industry, is rising by about 20% a year. That's not likely to stop because we're going to have more and more electronics year after year. So in 2022, for the first time, at least in more than a decade, we had a situation where there was a deficit of silver relative to the mined silver. That deficit became bigger in 2023 and is likely to be much bigger in 2024. So we're in a situation where the demand for silver for industrial use is exceeding the supply, and that gap is going to get bigger and bigger as the years go by. The only way you can fill that gap is to recycle silver. And to recycle silver, that means people bringing in their candlesticks or somebody taking their silver coins or their silver bars and cashing them in, or selling an ETF and they sell it back to the market. The only way you could supply that gap is with higher silver prices. So I do think silver prices will continue to drift higher, maybe go in spurts like the one we saw a few weeks ago when almost in days silver went from around 30 low 30s. It rose by 6% in one day. 7% one day. It went up to $35, maybe $36, and then it's obviously pulled back now by about 20%. So we could have those sort of moves, sudden, sharp movements, and it's very hard to burrow down and find out what causes them. But when they do happen, what it does do is cause all the shorts to run for cover. So when the price move starts, all those people who are short, there'll be an equal number of people who are short and long. All those who are short suddenly say, oh my God, it could be on its way to 50. And then they rush to cover. And that causes more buying, spiking the price higher than it should be.
Hey guys, just a quick break to hear from today's sponsor, ARC Silver Gold Osmium. They offer personalized service and competitive prices with no minimum purchase. People have pointed out that gold's rise was in the face of high interest rates, which is unusual, as well as a strong US dollar. And now that a rate cutting cycle has begun, perhaps this could fuel the next leg of the bull market. Obviously, central bank buying has been a big story. What are you watching specifically when it comes to catalysts for the gold price?
There is a fairly weak correlation between interest rates and the gold price. In other words, falling interest rates are positive for gold, but it's a weak correlation. It's not and it's certainly not the major one. I think the major one affecting the gold price at the moment are worries about the level of US government debt and the fact that the budget deficits are forecast to grow larger, and there's, as of now, no sign of the US government addressing those problems. To solve it, they would need to have a mixture of raising taxes and lowering costs. And of course, the political will to do either of those is not very high. So the feeling is, and not only the feeling, the projections from the US government's from the Congressional Budget Office, the projections are that that deficit is going to grow and the level of debt relative to GDP is going to grow. What does that mean? It means the debt levels are increasing faster than the economy is growing, and that means that it's in an unsustainable situation. And it's not just me saying that. We have very venerable people like Jerome Powell who've said this is unsustainable. I won't go to the long list of people who've said it, but everybody who's in the know basically knows it can't continue like this, because at some point something breaks and then all hell breaks loose.
Let's pivot to the gold and silver mining sector. This is an area that a lot of people see as extraordinarily undervalued or some kind of trap, either or, because we are seeing a big pullback in the GDX as we see gold dropping to around 2,600. And along the way, I believe GDX has returned basically on par with the metal itself over the course of the year, very close to that. More people were expecting the miners to be a levered play on the gold price. It hasn't exactly turned out that way. I wonder what your thoughts are on both gold and also the silver miners right now and any potential opportunity they present.
Traditionally, gold and silver miners outperform on the upside and underperform on the downside. We've had a decade where that's not been true. If we were to return to some sort of normality for the gold mining sector and the silver miners, the price of those shares probably would have to double from here just to keep pace with the present gold and silver prices. I think the reason why we've had this underperformance, we obviously had this decade from about 2012 onwards to 2021, 22, when gold was doing nothing. It sort of went into a giant saucer shape and didn't really go anywhere. The problem with that was a lot of people were looking at the massive bull market going on in stocks and saying, my God, I'm missing out on the latest hot stock. Where can I get the money? And they look at their portfolio and they say, I've had this gold mining stock for 5 years or 10 years or 3 years, whatever it is. It's a dog. Sell it. And then they go and buy Nvidia or Microsoft or Apple or Facebook or whatever the hottest stock of the day is, whatever they've got their eye on. So I think what we've had is rotation out of gold mining stocks into the, let's call it the Mag 7 for simplicity, and people are chasing hot stocks. At some point, the mining stocks will be the outperformers. We're not there today, but at some point they will be. And when that happens, I think we'll see that money coming back into the mining stocks, propelling them much higher. So one of the problems the mining sector has faced is rising costs. In the last couple of years, we've seen the cost of mining rising by something like 35%. That's since 2020. And the reason for that is mainly labor costs going up. But
to that as one of the catalysts for the gold price, Trump being elected president, obviously a lot of people who watch this show, I think, are happy. I'm politically homeless myself. I don't like politicians. However, one thing, we're hearing a lot of things about how he's going to, clean out the CIA and the FBI. He's going to restore, free speech, et cetera, et cetera. But the debt and deficits is something that is not you can't just snap your fingers. Apparently he's, Elon.
Ready. In other words, I don't think it's possible to do anything about the level of debt and the fact that it's going to get worse without some very dire consequences for the United States. So just something beeping and stop that. And one of the reasons is the governments have got into the habit of overspending, and if you start to withdraw that, well, which politician is going to vote for withdrawal of the spending? You're going to take away Social Security? Well, you have a revolution on your hands. You're going to raise taxes? Well, Americans are going to, the people who pay your bills, i.e. the rich, the Elon Musks of this world, are going to be having a word with their politicians saying, look, I supported you. What are you doing raising the taxes on me? So I think it's very difficult to do anything about it. But the other problem is the interest question. The level of interest on the national debt is rising very fast for two reasons. The first reason is a lot of money that they borrowed over the last decade, 12 years, they borrowed at very low rates when interest rates were effectively zero. So they could borrow money on 10-year bonds at interest rates of 1 or 2%. During the next decade, all of that debt, most of it is going to be maturing and has to be replaced by new debt. And that's already happening now. And as it gets replaced, it's being replaced by new debt, which is costing them 4.5% a year, or 5% a year, or 4% a year, depending on what maturity we're talking about. So it's costing them, let's call it for simple terms, twice as much. So during the previous decade, although they were spending more, the debt was getting bigger and bigger, the interest rates were going down, so the interest cost didn't rise very fast. But now we have the double whammy of rising interest costs because we got maturing debt having to be refreshed at higher interest rates, and a widening deficit which has to be financed, and that has to be financed at the new higher rates of well over 4%. So that interest cost is going to spiral out of control. If I put it in a family context, can you imagine if you had a credit card and the debt gets bigger and bigger until one day you wake up and you find that the interest cost is greater than you're earning? And that's the road that the United States is currently on. If they don't do anything about it, within a decade, we'll find that the interest cost exceeds the total of their tax take.
So for your average person out there who wants to protect their wealth in the face of this scenario, is physical gold and silver the best way to go?
A place in the wealth chain. So we've got the people at the top of the chain, the billionaires, and the millionaires, and then the people who've got 100,000, then people who've got 10,000, then the people who've only got 500 quid. Whatever you've got, you don't want to be going backwards, relatively speaking. And the one sure way to go backwards is to hold cash, because the money and the level of debt is being inflated at a much faster rate than you're earning interest. So even if you're getting 5% of your money, the level of government debt is being increased by 7 or 8% a year and rising. That's going to go faster. So you're going backwards, and that's before you've paid your taxes. So realistically speaking, the place to put your money, the place not to put your money is cash or bonds. You're not going to go forwards with those assets. You'll go backwards. So if you want to preserve your wealth and save for the long term, you need to be in other things. And that also depends on how much your wealth is. For the average Joe, he might not be very sophisticated. He might not know much about stock markets or other things. So a good way to protect your wealth is to buy the things you might need next year or the year after or 5 years from now. I'll give you some examples. You might be thinking, well, Nick, I'm going to start exercising next year. Well, why wait till next year to buy your exercise bike? Why not buy it now? Maybe you could do a home extension. That's a good investment. Maybe you could do a loft conversion. Maybe you can have your garden redone. That's a good investment. So it all depends on how much you got. But of course, if you're very wealthy, then you have capital to deploy in financial assets, and you need to be looking at things like precious metals as one of your investments. Now, I say one of the investments because you don't want to have too much into anything. I have published on LinkedIn several times over the last few years what I call an asset allocation table for millionaires. And that has consistently shown 6% in gold, 6% in silver, so 12% in precious metals. That could extend to platinum and palladium, which I think have also got their characteristics for investment. But the rest of the assets should be in things like equities, property. Now, you can access property through real estate investment trusts. It doesn't mean to say you've got to go out and buy a flat and rent it out. That might be a lot of work. I mean, if you've got the appetite for doing it, why not? But for a lot of people, they say, I don't want the trouble and the taxes which come with owning a piece of real estate, and then I've got to deal with the tenants and all sorts of things can go wrong, like repairs and so forth. If you don't want any of that, you buy a real estate investment trust, which will invest in a particular category of property. It might be they're investing in apartments, it might be office blocks, it might be a hospital.
All right, just get to the point. If I ever take that long to get to the point, tell me. I know I do. I know I take that long to get to the point. Hey, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Ham will be on in 10 or 12 minutes. That gentleman talked about in another interview one item that's coming for all of us in the United States. Janet Yellen decided to do her borrowing short term. I've never quite understood it. When interest rates are low, why doesn't the government go lock in rates long term? But anyway, she decided to do it very short term, and he suggests in another interview, I'll find it, that it was to goose the election because it kept rates down. Anyway, just to cut to the chase, there's $7 or almost $8 trillion worth of U.S. debt coming due next year, which needs to be refinanced. On top of that, there's a $2 trillion deficit that needs to be financed. And probably, I hate to say it, Trump's going to spend more than that $2 trillion, particularly if we're at war. So I think we're looking at a period of higher interest rates eventually. That doesn't mean rates can't go down now. And a guy named, there's another analyst out there that thinks the 10-year interest rates are going to go to 2.5 from here. I don't know. I don't know how to suss that all out. If we go into a hard landing, this guy obviously doesn't see that. He's saying buy equities. Maybe the hard landing brings interest rates down. It's just something to bear in mind. We have a lot of debt to refinance next year. I think if I remember what he said, it's about 9 months into the year, so it won't be right away. All right, we got 10 minutes for ham. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I was invited very kindly to a dinner, and I had a great time, but I feel like I have a hangover. I mean, I didn't drink anything, but I guess I absorbed everybody else's fun. Hey, Brian. Hey, Lee. Hey, Ellie Belly. Oh, you know Clive. I watch Mineko. That's where that's the other channel. We'll get to that, Ellie. I think that's where the other interview was of Clive. I didn't know you were an Anglophile. But it's interesting. He points out he doesn't think there's short selling in the silver market, he sees no evidence. I see no evidence. I'm not close to that market. Well, that's the attitude of most people on Wall Street to the situation we find ourselves in a lot of these stocks. So we have to learn just to accept it. It's not accepted wisdom. And the fact is, we can't prove it. We can't prove it. It's like I always say, you can't prove that the cocaine supply came from Pablo Escobar. I mean, there's still cocaine, and he's in prison. Hey, Just Mike. Donna, happy Thanksgiving. Happy birthday, Jeff. Hey, Vin. Tony T. The hamster will be on. Hey, Jeff, thanks. Oh, it's Jeff's birthday. Hey, Red Pepperoni. I did have a good Thanksgiving. It was a very blue audience. I made one comment on how two of the seats in the House took 3.5 weeks to count, and it's voila, they suddenly moved to the Democrats. It was met with stone silence. So I zipped my mouth. I didn't talk anymore. And they started talking about how people that vote for Trump are in a cult. And I decided, should I speak? Should I not speak? I decided, hey, it's not my dinner table. It's not my turkey. It's not my guests. So I kept my mouth shut and let them. They're all well-intentioned, very well-intentioned. And that's something we have to remember. We're all Americans. We all believe in the same things. I think a lot of it is they, as we do, hear information from people they trust, like the lamestream media. And, you got to tolerate it. If they had exposure, which I do, I travel quite a bit. Well, I haven't recently, but as you know, I do a lot of oil and gas, and all I meet are people who didn't vote for Hillary, and they're great people. There's nothing. They're not in a cult. Anyway, all I know is, young men, there's a place for you to go. It's Trump land. 58. You're a young man. Isn't it funny how Henry Youngman is an old man and Gary Oldman is a young man and Paul Newman is an old man? That was a riff by Norm Macdonald. Yeah, it'd be good to see some green. Ham has a new idea for you. Hey, Nunya. Red Pepper. Lucky is anyway, he was barking in his sleep. It's the only time he barks and runs around is in his dreams. Hey, John, did you hear that little bit about platinum and palladium and from Clive Owen? Place to put some of your quid. Did you see the size of his room and his apartment? We forget how we live in North America. We live in these enormous, compared to the UK, we live in these enormous homes. That I think might change in the future. Yeah, there's a new stock tip. Sell everything. No, that's not it. I don't have anything new on that. Is it going up? But I will say, I think there'll be, look, I think there'll be news soon, as I do in all these. Yeah, it's going up a little bit, isn't it? I think that'll triple or quintuple. $1.50 within 2 weeks, I think. Any finger news? We'll find out from him. I'm going to say if probably the best news is if they thought they could win, they'd let it go up. Did Lucky get his turkey leg? No, but he got some treats. He did get some extra treats. If you want to know, he got lamb lung, which he loves. And it stinks, but he loves it. Anglophile Ellie. and all that, and all that. Hey, pilot. Patrick Burns' birthday. Why, Ryan? I'll tell him. Jeffson, hi, Tom. Jeffson, good company. All right. Rumor is news coming out for Monday for Finger. What could it be? Let's see. Monday is December 2nd. I wonder what the news was. I mean, off the top of my head, I would say financing, maybe. The other thing I could think of is more clarity on that contract. You know, an update on that contract with the emergency vehicles. I don't know. Maybe they'll be bought out by Temu. I don't know. All right, it's 10:58. Let's see what the stocks are. He's going to call in at 11. Yeah, you're right. RLAIF is up. I won't tell you about the one he's going to tell you. MLSS is up at 103. Finger's up 7 cents. So whoever, you guys are right, Jack and Raiden. It's at 204. GME's down $1. Let's see what Nix is doing because he's not going to talk about that. Nix is 253. Pounce a bull. Pounce a bull. This is 3 or 4 weeks old, but look at the support. You're buying in the support. So one of the reasons I like that trade as my favorite is your risk reward. It's at the bottom of the page almost. I mean, obviously there's always risk. Let's see, GDC is down. T-low hits a new low. It's down 28 cents, $4. And I don't have ZJYL here. I want to look at that one. ZJYLF. That's starting to look like it's going to snap back up, but not today. It's down 9 cents, 88 cents. All right. MLSS had a good run up. Yeah, that's the old, maybe we'll get back to the old sayings, buy on rumor, sell on the news. Hope you're enjoying DC. Yeah, hey, Gary. It's very quiet, and I actually like it when everyone leaves town. It's kind of cool. It's like that movie, Soylent Green is Humans, where Charlton Heston bombs around. Was that the movie where he bombs around New York City during the day and there's no other cars? I love it. It's like that here in DC. Oh, Rudy, don't take your love to town. Nothing like a dog. I'm going to miss my boy, but he's right here. He doesn't understand that he's getting old. He doesn't understand it. He looks at me all confused. He can't stand up. MLS, huge, 70K. Oh, a big, well, it's spoofing. 70K. That's got to be spoofing. I don't know anyone selling. Well, I'm not close to it. It's time to sell GME. I would rather move GME over to DJT. GME is a controlled stock. Every time it runs up, they do an offering. They're just working out their position over time, and they're taking advantage of retail. A friend of mine at the office is Morgan Stanley, where I worked. That's everything changes names, but anyway, he had on his computer. I'd go in and see him in the morning, maybe middle of the day. He had this cutout, and it was a quote from Mike Milken. If you're looking for a tax loss, call a retail broker. And the whole point is, and I learned it over time, is the worst position to be in, maybe other than a passive investor in ETFs or otherwise, in the coming melee, the coming troubles. The worst is to be a retail investor. You're at the end of the food chain. No one cares about you. The second worst is a retail broker. It's just a fact. So that's where I think we are with GME, and I've felt that way a long time. I don't see anything special about GME. It probably should be under $10. I haven't done the arithmetic, but the value of GME is just two things: cash and this guy Cohen. If you assume, like I do, that the short position is being slowly managed, unwound, there's no short squeeze coming. I don't see it, and I haven't seen it. So what's cash worth? I would say cash, you've got some costs to shut down bricks and mortars, maybe. You've got probably legacy costs for pensions. I don't know. But cash is probably not worth 100%. And, maybe it's 80% of that. And then what's that cash worth? Well, it's only worth how it's deployed. I don't know. I don't think GME is an exciting place to be. That's the best story for the year-end trade. Sexy Nixie is the best trade risk reward between now and Christmas time, Hanukkah time, Kwanzaa time. Sexy Nixie. But there's others. And they're all, I think, as Ham pointed out to you maybe 2 weeks ago, these stocks, all these over-the-counter stocks are starting to show strength. Maybe our time will come. 7K, Turkey Cohen. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure it's spoofing. Archer Aviation. All right, I'm going to write that down. Archer Aviation. I've heard of it. ACHR. I don't know why I've heard of it. It's a common name, maybe. Yeah, AMC. Ugh. Popcorn. Lou was right about that one. Yeah, everybody's depending on a short squeeze. But the point is, Jack, that I'm trying to make, that's why I was talking about retail being on the arse end of everything. They're hyping it up, and then they sell into that. And as it's hyped up, there's a new short position. They take profits. They bite some of their losses, and they're working out of it. What did you say wrong? You didn't say, oh, sorry you sold it. I thought it said, sorry you said it. My eyesight. VCIG is better, I guess you say. VCIG. I don't know. We'll find out. GME has dollars. They can buy Holly. They should buy silver. They should buy they could buy the Kamala Harris campaign. Yeah, exactly, Jack. And that's a sign that you're what's the word? Wise is all that's not the word I want, but you're a sober investor. You think clearly. You have to. The hardest thing about investing, and it's a pain, I know it. I've done it. I've gone through it. And it'll come again and again. But when you have a loss or when it's going against you or it didn't work out, you have to be quick, if you can be, to recognize the facts, whatever the facts are. And of course, there's some opinion there, but you have to accept it. You can't, in investing, you can't wish it the way you want it. You have to just accept what's laid out there. It's like dating. You shouldn't wish it. Wish it, want it, get it. All right, let's see. I don't know why he hasn't called in. Oh, he did. No, he didn't. I don't know. I don't know why he hasn't called in. We'll give him his space. He might be doing something important. There was something else I was going to talk to you about. I've been reading another Jim Rickards book. He's very prolific, that guy. The world ahead is going to be different, and we got to start getting ready for it. The investing world ahead is going to be different. And I'm worried. Not everybody shares my worry, but I'm worried that we're going to war. And that really frightens me. But, all right, here, he just called. All right, let me see. I got to put that speaker back.
Hello.
Hey, I just plugged in that speaker, so I now have to add it back. It disconnected. All right, hang on.
Battery 20%.
All right, you're ready. Well, hang on. Let me make sure you're on that speaker. Yep, you're ready to go.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. And there's nothing like always being updated and being ahead of the curve when it comes to Wall Street. I told William before that I'm probably going to make a small sale in MLSS if it ever gets moving. I've got a new stock that I want to put my money into, and I just can't do it. I'm going to wait till I'm able to buy it, and when I'm able to buy it, I will tell William exactly when and what price I paid for it. So I'm gonna wait till I do that. I want everybody to know it when I do it. I just don't want to. I want to put my money where my mouth is before I tell anybody. It hasn't moved. It's doing nothing. So I will wait until I have the capital to move into it. So I'm sorry, but that's the way I like to put my money in so you can see it. But I will give you that. It's pretty interesting story. It's not a short squeeze candidate, so it's something that's going to take time. So I'll let you know when I do it. Again, I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I think there'll be some great news on it, but down the road. So I'll wait, William, until I have the capital to buy it.
Well, MLSS was up.
Where is it?
Don't get excited. It's 103.46, 103 by 104.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, make 2 cents.
Hey, Don't turn a trade into a loser.
I know if I sell it, it'll scream $5. If I hold on to it, it'll drift. I mean, I have no idea. The news came out, and to me, it's very promising, and I don't see the rush to do it. But you know, there's always a better story or something coming down the road that can move faster. So when I make that decision, probably Monday or Tuesday, I'll see what I'm going to do. But I'm using that as a source of capital. You know, we have 60,000 shares of it, so you know, I'll use that, and then I can use it to buy something else. But as soon as I get the capital, I will tell everybody when it is, and I will tell you exactly when I buy it so you can see it. All right. FingerMotion, where is that, William? Let's go right to that.
It was also up. It was up 7 cents, but let me find out where it is now. It's up 7 cents. 204, 203, 204, 54,000 shares, 3 by 10.
So we're hearing out of multiple people saying that there's a big revenue deal coming out next week, a rumor of a revenue deal. And some people that are based out of Hong Kong and, you know, Asia are the ones that are hearing it. So let's see, they're saying any day now we should have a big revenue deal. Maybe that's what Martin was referring to in your call, that they have other opportunities. I don't know. So again, you know, with this smoke, there's fire. I'm waiting on the audit so the company can finish the filing on the dividend and give us the record date. And remember, that is the only thing that is 100% different than everything out here. DJT has the President of the United States, Devin Nunes. GameStop has, I don't know why, but it just keeps moving up. But again, FingerMotion has something that you will get the record date on. And just so you understand, if you're short, you owe the dividend. And the difference on this dividend than anything else, these guys are going to wind up being short 10% more without getting a penny. They don't make a sale. They don't make anything. So you're going to wake up and you're going to be short 10% more. 230 million means 23 million more. 1.6 million means 160,000 more for the real short. So they're going to wake up one day, they're going to have a margin call and potentially have a loss, because if the warrant, which will have its own symbol, every time it goes up 10 cents, you know, on the 23 million, they lose 2.3 million. And the other one, they lose 16,000 every time it goes up. And they have to maintain margin on that. So it's a completely new, massive headache for the short sellers. It's one that I don't think they can stand up to. Patrick Byrne will expose what happened.
It's his birthday today, apparently, somebody said.
Yeah, the poor guy's in the hospital, you know, doing well. We'll see what happens. Hopefully everything works out for him. But you know, when he did his dividend, it showed you that the shorts they'll be short more. And the stock went from 3 to 128. It's pretty well known. Just do Patrick Byrne's short squeeze. Google it. You can read it yourself. I put it up many times. We're not making it up. That's how you expose them. The SEC has a new administration coming in. And hopefully the gentleman that comes in is supposedly rumored to be this former SEC commissioner, which I basically highlighted back. He was in 2002 to 2008. I highlighted to him and saying, hey, you were under SEC Chair Chris Cox. We did a nice video on naked short selling, talking about how crooked it is and how it's fraudulent. We called it fraudulent naked short selling. And I wanted to know what his comments were back then. So again, if you look at it, Devin Nunes and DJT or Truth Social has made so much noise about naked short selling, they cannot back down from it. So they only have one way to go, and that's forward. So there's a lot of things going in our favor. January 20th, Trump gets sworn in. This shit's going to hit the fan all over the place. And I think that's what you're seeing, like in stocks like GameStop. You know, shorts are saying, get me out of this thing. Or it's just more longs buying it. I don't really understand what's going on there anymore. I don't see the data on it, so I don't know. But if you are long, I can only advise you to do is sell the stock, take your profit, and just use profit, and you buy some calls and don't look at it again. If you have a stock that went up $6, it's been moving up from, remember people owned it at 30, it went to 19, and it's kind of round trip back. Breaking even, taking some of that money and buying options is the safest way to play it. Again, people can keep saying it's a short squeeze, but the company has sold 140 million shares to the shorts already. I think that was the number. So I don't know how big the short squeeze it is, how much is left in it, but it's very orderly the way it's going up. So to me, I'll percent of that rally or 20% is shorts covering, and the other 80% of it is investors buying it. So it's sort of like, once the buys dry up, you got to be careful because the shorts, if they're not covering, if they're not here, the stock will drop. So just be careful, lock in that profit. It doesn't hurt. I don't care if you own 100 shares, you sell it, you make 5 points. You go out, you buy $500 worth of calls, and you don't worry about your money anymore. I would advise you to do that in many stocks when you have options like that involved in it. Anyway, so that's what I see in GameStop. DJT, William, I have no idea where it is. I had to go to the store. Where is DJT?
Let me look. It's not on my short list here. Let me just type it in. DJT. It's up $1.39, 31.83.
All right, so these guys, the shit's starting to hit the fan. You can see, DJT has been holding 30. I posted a couple days ago the short squeeze names. It's showtime. I put the post up. GameStop 230. It's moving. I said DJT. I think once it goes 235, that's when the shit really hits the fan. And now I say, and FingerMotion. Again, buying a $32 stock, 93% of the people on this phone call can't afford to buy 50,000 shares of a $31 stock. Options are very tough to land because there's premium, and you have to worry about the timing of it. And I look at FingerMotion, it's a $2 stock that's got potentially more upside than both of them. It's a much smaller company. It's got a huge short. And the one thing FingerMotion has bigger than DJT and GameStop is the education. I follow GameStop, and I have no idea what the numbers are anymore, what's going on there. And I follow it. FingerMotion, we know every gory detail. DJT, I do know, but you know what? It's a $30, $32 stock. Unfortunately, I can't go out and buy 50,000 shares of a $30 stock. I just don't have it. Dude, good luck trading the stock. All right, but I do think it's going to move higher, and you can start to see that it's going to start to gain some traction, and we'll start to move higher. Anything else, William? Give me some ideas.
Yeah, there's.
I just read light, so that's all.
Do you know anything about Archer Aviation, HCHR? You don't follow crypto, so people ask about
No, I do not.
XRP.
I have a guy that sold maybe 90,000 XRP up to $1.70. He's been selling it since $1.50. Owned it at 60 cents. And he's moved out of that. And, he's going to start moving into our names. Listen, people, you can trade other names, Like, remember, never turn good trades, never turn a winning trade into a loser as best you can. And I'm on that fence right now with MLSS. What do I do?
Scott points out for the finger real shorts by themselves, 1.6 million real short. So when the dividend occurs, they'll be short another 160,000 shares. That's correct. A whole day of average volume?
Well, the average volume. So for those who don't understand it, the exchanges are so nice. They put up how many days does it take to cover a real short. They never talk about the naked short, but the real short. And on FingerMotion, I think it's 9 days to cover the 1.6 million shares. And so you understand, that is completely false information. And you say, why would you say that? Because the average volume in FingerMotion is going to be somewhere between 30 and 50,000 shares, which you're seeing today. That's probably a whole day's volume. That'll be normal for this stock. Where the volume has been increased because of these fake wash trades. When you create fake volume, it lowers that number on the short covering. So we have an average volume day of 170,000 shares. That is completely wrong. The average volume is probably 40,000 shares. So think about covering 1.6 million, where the average volume is 40,000 shares. That's a lot of days to cover 1.6 million. So if they weren't naked shorting and they had to cover the 1.6 million, it will look like root. It'll go up $10, $20 on 500,000 shares. So the volume, which we all look at, is definitely it has a negative effect on the short squeeze covering, because it throws off the numbers. It should take 30 days to cover it, not 8 days. And if you go back in time, you look at that, used to have sites that used to calculate this stuff. I mean, you would have stocks that would take 100 days to cover on shorts. But now with the fake volume and the wash trades and the selling back and forth, it changes the volume calculation of the stocks. And that's important to know and understand. So when you see 1.6 million and it says it's only going to take 10 days or 8 days to cover, that's completely nonsense. I'm driving, I don't know the number of 40,000 into 1.6 million. I think it could be 40 days. Right? 40 times 4, 16. I mean, so those numbers are crazy. As long as everybody understands that, the real short number, it's based on calculating the days to cover, is based on a volume number that's make-believe. And you have to look at it that way.
Then the Finger dividend has not been announced yet in terms of being approved by the SEC. It's expected any time. If you listen to the interview, the old accounting firm, for whatever reason, didn't want to be part of the PBOC or whatever that is. So they had to get a new auditing firm, and they've had to go through 2 years of financials. Martin is pressuring them to get it done by the middle of December, because everything is dependent on getting those audited numbers fixed. The SEC, he believes it should just be a matter of, once they get the new audit, it's approved, although he admits the SEC could complicate it, but it's just the last piece of the puzzle for approval. Once it's approved, it'll be announced, and then they have to give 10 days before the record date. So if you assume they get approval on December 15th, maybe the record date is Boxing Day, December 26th. And we'll know about that. We'll have time. But right now we don't know. Could they backdate the buy-in date for Finger?
What does that mean?
No, I don't think so. They've got to give. It's 10 regular days. It's not 10 trading days. They have to give notice. So there's full distribution of information. So there's a chance for everybody that wants to qualify for that dividend can buy the stock. That might make the stock go up, by the way. Who knows?
What can make the stock go up, William?
Just when they approve the dividend and they announce, let's say that the ex-dividend date is December 26th, people might buy the stock just to qualify for the dividend.
Well, I know people are going to buy the stock to the dividend because I've spoken to a couple of hedge fund guys, and they are waiting for that date. They want to make sure they get the dividend. So they can buy it before. I don't know, but they do understand the dividend.
There's a few questions on ZJYL, any news? There's no news. There's just constant shorting. But I don't think the story's changed. That was a 200-for-1 forward split and a large short position. A group of wealthy investors, insiders own the entire float. I think the story's still there, but it's down today. I'm just looking. Yeah, ZJYL under $1. Any news?
It's been under $1. We're waiting. As soon as I get an update, I will tell you. I've said it every day. ZJYL, GBC. When I get an update on it, I told you ZJYL is acting just like GBC did. It broke down to 60 cents and then it went to 12. If I hear it and it's going to turn, I will let you know.
People are following MLSS. Ray Dan is pointing out that they've had 70,000 for sale at a 106. I don't see that right now. Although, has it stopped trading? I don't get a quote on it.
Where is it, Cleo?
Let me just try again. I'm not getting a quote. It says 103.5, but when I go to the detail, there's no. Let me just see if there's. Yeah. Anyway, it says 103.5. Let me look on NASDAQ.
Listen, MLSS, everybody knows what it's about now. This
102, 102.14.
102 what?
1.0214.
Whatever that is. Everybody knows what the story is. I can't help us anymore on that. I told there's more news coming. I do not know what it is. And the company came out with a tremendous fundamental story. You know what? We had scoop on it. We were close, and we got that's what we got out of it.
Can you go? Zach wants you to go over the Finger dividend again. What's going on?
Absolutely. So the company said that they were going to issue a 10% special warrant dividend. The warrant is going to be tradable. So it's going to have a new symbol, FNGR, with a W. It'll have a QSIP. It'll be completely separate from FNGR. So you got that. So there can be two symbols now. It did.
Call from 1703355.
Date on it. So let's say they give it out in January 2025. That dividend is alive until January 2027. So in that 2-year period, let's say the exercise price is $3. Okay, I heard $3, I heard $4, I don't know what the number is. Let's say it's 3. If the stock goes to 100, that warrant will be trading at $97. Why? Because it's worth 3, not 3 plus 97 equals 100. Anytime you like, you can sell it. So when it opens up, let's say the stock is 3 and the warrant is 10 cents to 50 cents, like an option. Paying 50 cents to have the right to buy the stock at 3 for 2 years is something that would be very enticing to people that understand options.
because the premium on the whole thing would be 50 cents, and you got 2 years. If you look at it right now, the DJT 40s probably for next week are probably $1. And that's 9 points away, and you only have 5 days of life. That's premium. So the premium in the finger warrant will be higher than 10 cents to 50 cents. I think that market will be more like 50 cents to $1.50. Now, if you're short those things, you're going to be short at zero. Remember, each dime up is a $2.3 million loss for the naked short. And the real short is going to be $16,000 for every dime it goes up. So that is real bloodbath. You could sit there and say, well, they're going to sell more of them. Well, I know people that are going to buy them if they want to sell them down. All right, I don't think anybody wants to sell things cheaper, and because now that it has nothing to do with the stock price. You got the fundamentals coming on strong. You have someone, short the stock, and then you got someone short another different variation of the stock. It is going to create such a fuck you to Jeff Easton and his buddies that it's going to be like they never bumped into this. Let's say that they never experienced this, and they can say whatever the fuck they want because they haven't. This is a very sophisticated technique to expose the criminals. So it's a big FU to Jeff Easton and his boys.
If I had a dime for every dime I've got, that was off though. That was off though. All right, you did that. Why did Finger go into the teens 2 or 3 years ago?
Back in the day, there was a short about 3 million shares, and we basically, I don't know what's the term we can use? We roasted his ass.
It's a good term. I'm just looking at questions. I don't know PHUN. When DJT explodes, will PHUN move? I don't know PHUN. But I was saying the last couple of days that, and I think you may or may not have agreed with me, but I'm asking you, would you move GME to DJT or part of it?
Would I move
GME to DJT?
Yes, we talked about that the other day.
Yeah, I agree with it. Matthew.
Listen, if you look at it, if you had $31,
yeah,
if you own 1,000 shares of it,
yeah,
sell 500 and buy 500 DJTs. It's basically the same price, right?
yeah.
Only you're going to get the president of the United States behind you.
And both stories allegedly have the same short squeeze upside. I don't think GME has much upside. It might be a trade, but I don't think it's going to squeeze. They're not going to let it squeeze. That's my opinion. Matthew wants to know if he's putting $400 a week in out of his salary. He's buying Finger and DJT, and that's about 40% of his weekly amount. So is he risking too much? He's young.
Listen, that's life is about that. I can't advise you on that. I don't know your situation. Do it with above your head. Yeah, listen, I'll give you this.
I like the idea myself, but I can't give you advice.
I can go back in time. I wish I could. I had some photos back in the day when Amazon was like 11
when you
bucks.
had hair.
Yes, when I had hair, and I remember I pitched Bob Johnson of BET.
Oh wow, yeah.
I was in his office in DC. That's when he was going through a divorce with his wife, and he was, I was pitching him on doing a something for the minority community, and he backed out. And he was a chicken shit, but that's what he was. But I was my pitch was Amazon at the time, and basically he was saying that look where Amazon is, $10. I had no idea where Amazon would be coming into, but I'm just saying this is, you know, we were talking about a startup with big potential, doing all kinds of revenue and all this nonsense. And, you know, it's $10. If we bought one share a week when it was down here, and just, you know, as a minority, anybody, and you put it away. I wish I did it. Put it away, one share a week, 2 shares, whatever you got. Instead of throwing the money out the window, it's $10. Look what it turned into. You know, so I look at it, FingerMotion, the same type of thing, is that a company that has got all of China. It's a small company turning into a big company. If you see the vision that we see, and you see the CEO, you know, could this be that stock? Or is it Nvidia? Nvidia's already taken off. It's $150. You know, you could have bought Bitcoin at, you know, $10. You would have that vision. So you have to find something like that and play into it. You know, maybe do something where you do a little less. I don't know.
Is it too late to get into Wolf?
I'm done with Wolf a long time ago.
Yeah. I also think you have to pay attention to the conversion price of either their warrants or their notes. I can't remember. You can look it up in the most recent filing. It's all in the $8 range. So I would expect it'll stall there, if not pull back a little bit. But who knows? That used to be almost, you know, that was in the high teens, I think, before they got introduced to Yorkville, to my memory. I tried to set orders for Finger to sell at 400, 300, 500. They all got rejected. They're all rejected. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all rejected. So I just put, you know, you put something in at $10, okay? As the stock moves to, let's say the stock moves to 6, you move it to 15. If stock moves to 10, you can move it to 20. You can move it back accordingly. Don't ask me why they block those sales. It doesn't make any sense. I think that's a way for them to keep your shares in the system so that they could borrow them. That's what I think.
I would also suggest that don't use round numbers. Everybody goes in at 300 or 400. I mean, try 299 or 301. Might work. I don't know.
What happened to GameStop? It's down to $1.20 now. I just saw it now.
I put out a sell recommendation, and it reverberated around the world. I don't know what's going on. There's sellers. There's constant selling. There's constant selling.
Listen, I think that my opinion on GameStop is that it's long believing and pushing it and just accumulating, and hedge funds and jumping alongside with them. And it's sort of like, to me, like a pyramid scheme. Not saying that the company's wrong, nothing's wrong. It's like that longs are buying it, and when William buys it, he tells me, and I buy it, and I buy it, and he buys it. But once we stop buying it, that's when the stock drifts down, because they're all trying to entice the short to cover. Right? And when you get something that's moved $11, you're going to get this volatility that you're seeing. And that's what that's what gets me nervous, because the company has shown that they're willing to raise money and sell shares and raise money. So that, you know, that's, you know, in the beginning, the company wasn't doing that, but now it is. It's shown that it's done that. Will they continue to do it? Will people take the trade? I think so. That's my gut on it. To me, I would play it. I would have sold and bought calls and forget about it. But if I lose, I lose, and I don't worry about it anymore.
So Zach's wondering, you know, the shorts know about the dividend. So what are they going to do to get around it?
They're going to commit Harry Carey. They're going to kill themselves. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's nothing they can do to get around it. There's a new SEC commission coming in. They can't stop it. There's nothing they can do. These type of dividends are normal. There's nothing wrong about it. If they were giving out a crypto coin, that would make people jump through hoops, but they're not doing that. This is well within the norm. This is allowed. Many companies have done it over the years. Once it's been established that it's been done and approved, there should be no problem with it. And I'm sure Jeff Easton, him and his buddies can't call the SEC up and, you know, actually do anything about it.
You already said that you don't And anyway, that Fro girl's wondering, what are your targets, if you have any, for Wolf or Riot?
Those stocks are great. When I first heard about Wolf, I went to a conference and I saw the management and I listened to them, and it was, 70 cents, it was like, Yorkville was the debt financing guy. And that's when I got involved in it. When it went to 4, when it was 60, 70 cents, Bitcoin was 15,000, let's say 13, 14, 15,000. Bitcoin went to 36,000 and it never really moved much. It was $1.10. I was like scratching my head. I didn't understand the relationship between the two. And then Bitcoin took off, and then eventually the stock started to take off. It took a long time. So when this Bitcoin was like 50 or 60,000, this stock was basically $3 or $4. I was like, this is impossible. So I waited as long as I can, and I dumped it right around there. I don't know the relationship between Bitcoin and the stocks and how they make money. I know Wolf they do the best because they have nuclear power. Riot and Mara may have more machines, but their cost to produce a Bitcoin is higher. And the gentleman that worked for Wolf is the one that designed the systems for Mara and Riot. So these guys know the game. Why hasn't the stock moved more? I expected Wolf to be $20 or $30 by now. It would have moved to 100,000, but it hasn't. And that's it. I don't understand the movement and how Bitcoin moves and how this moves. It just doesn't make any sense. So sometimes it's a like MLSS. The companies come out with great news. It hasn't moved. Why hasn't it moved? You know what's going to happen? The minute I sell it, that's when it's going to move.
And you don't have any view on XRP? It's
No, listen, I have people that own it, they've been working out of it, Listen, everyone says it's going to be the next 100 years, it's going to be the thing, the place to be. So I've told everyone to do the same thing. You own 100,000, sell 50, sell 60,000 of it. You paid 50 cents, you're $1.70, you're up $1.20, and you're going half of it for free. Then you never look at it again.
So Eric's asking me, but I'll let you answer, but I'll just quickly say on Northwest Bio, he's been in 6 years. I think that's dead money. I don't think there's a trade there. But when it's bought out, I think you could see huge returns. I don't know when the buyout's going to be. I would imagine it'll be after approval of whatever therapy they have. And then the big companies can do an analysis of the forward revenue. And they say, hey, we got to own this. I don't know when it happens. I think it'll be soon, though, because time's gone by, but I don't know. I don't know what you think about Northwest Bio.
I think that management has been working on getting this, treatment for brain cancer. They've been focused on it, but they sold out every shareholder in creation over years. Everyone's been wiped out in it. I got it. They want to treat, for the people that have brain cancer, it's, the most important thing in the world. For shareholders that are not involved with brain cancer or have nothing to do with it, they're looking to make money off of the, hopefully the profit of the potential of saving people's lives. And I just think that, it has done nothing for either group, but hopefully it gets approved. Hey, listen, my friend's died of brain cancer. I mean, it's remarkable that it doesn't make a difference what you do on Wall Street. They let the short sellers just destroy the company. Just imagine where the stock would be with the potential of everyone believing it and hoping that they have this cure. The stock would have been $20, $30. The company would have 100 million shares in the float, not a billion. The market cap of the company's been destroyed. Same thing's going on in CDM, same thing. CVM, CELU, just keep going down the road. SENS, BLUE. All these biotech companies all just got wiped out. But Netflix keeps going up because they showed a new movie and it just keeps going up. Another 14 points today. Don't worry about it. When you get brain cancer, Netflix will help you out. That to me is the biggest crime in the world.
Well, we've run out of questions, but we can still keep talking.
I have shit to do. It's 12 o'clock. By the time it is 12 o'clock, 11:46. And I had something to say. I just went blank for a second. Again, I don't know why GME sold off.
It's a half day. Most people
There's
aren't.
an option expiration today, right? There's an option
Oh.
expiration, as always. So let's look at today's calls for the 30s for today. It's always interesting.
Premiums.
All
They
right,
want
they're
the
12
premiums.
cents. They were over $1, 15,000 calls wiped out. They were $2 this morning, right? Almost $32. If you want to play around, my friends, you can buy the 30s at 11 cents, 12 cents, and take a shot for the end of
For
the day.
today.
Maybe the stock closes at 31 again. That may be worth a play.
That's an interesting idea.
That's what I would be doing. I love to play those, but you only got an hour to go. But think about it, the guys that sold the short trying to knock it down below 30, they're going to try to come back and cover. So if they come back and cover, the stock will scream right through 31, 30 again, and go back maybe back to 31. Option expiration was always a favorite of mine, but you got only an hour and 10 minutes left. And it's so funny. I just want to talk about FingerMotion. This morning, the stock had traded, all those shares traded always on the opening, and then it stops. So those are your wash trades. Those are shares that the short sellers were being asked to deliver. So let's say E-Trade calls up Morgan Stanley, says, hey, man, it's 50,000 shares today. You're failing to deliver. Morgan Stanley says, hold on a second. Oh, my client just bought it. He just bought it from Merrill Lynch. Okay, great. Thank you. And they send them the information that they covered it. And all they did was have their Merrill Lynch account sell it short to the Morgan Stanley account. Now he's flat. He makes delivery, and the game goes on. All they're doing is kiting a check. That's all they've done.
I don't know if you know anything about ABVE or PGHO. I don't. I'll write them down, Zach. I don't know that Ham's going to take time to look at them.
I'm in the stage where I'm not looking around for stocks to trade. I'm doing things like waiting for people that are actually doing their homework on it that I trust and believe. And I talked about trusting big plays in GDC a long time ago. I was upside down. I averaged down, and I trusted the people. I told everyone on the call I trusted the people, and they went to 12. MLSS, I told you I trusted the people, and the stock drifted down. I did not average down, but I believed in what they were saying, and the news came out, and you know what? It's not a big winner yet, but it's not a loser. What can I say? No one can guarantee you what the stock's going to do, but at least the information's on the nose. So that's what I kind of look for now. I'm looking for an edge when I trade. I'm looking for some sort of edge. I'm not just throwing a dart. There's people that we know that work at Goldman, Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America. They hear things, and they hear big money managers what they're doing. I always keep my ear open. If there's something good, I will let you know about it. That's how it works. I told you, I think FingerMotion's going to have a big week next week. I think this shit's going to hit the fan. All right, they can't hold it down. Where's it going to go? Where are they going? They're trapping themselves. Days are flying by. Mid-December is for the dividend. Maybe we get lucky and this fundamental story that's going around comes true next week. All right, when there's smoke, there's fire. That's how I always believe it. I don't know what it is, but hopefully it comes out next week. I believe in the company. I think they are getting new deals in China. The CEO told you about
it's probably your friend, what's her name, Lily? No, Lulu? Lily.
I don't know.
No, you said that.
I don't know. I think she's well.
I thought you knew her name, but whatever.
She's our Nancy Pelosi, let's say
Yeah.
that. Nancy Pelosi had all the scoop on the U.S. government. I think that this girl in China's got the scoop on the Chinese government. Or she has some friends in high places. Maybe that's a better way to say it. And I don't think anybody here could stop the relationship that they have.
Yep. MLS, I don't know what it's trading for. I guess my E-Trade isn't working.
No, I got it up. It's a 102 bid for 900 shares, 2,500 offer to 103.
Kit thinks GDC is prepping to go big. I think so.
Listen, I never heard the people say they walked away from it, so that's the positive. The thing is, I don't know when they're going to go. Just like Northwest Bio, we all love it. We all root for it, but we just don't know. If you want to own it, it's 28 cents. You buy it. Listen, people, if you buy these stocks like that, you have to understand that you're rolling the dice on something major to happen. So you can't look at it every day. You're just going to
you just got to put it aside.
If you just got to buy it and say, okay, I would like to buy 10,000 shares, which is $2,800, then I'm not going to look at it. If it works and it goes to 10, you kill them. If it doesn't, you lose $2,800.
It's like getting a signed concert poster from a Tool concert. Set it aside.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay.
They were talking about it last night at dinner. I had no idea who Tool is, but it's a hot item. God bless. How do we know if naked shorts have moved their position overseas to hide the position?
That is funny you said that. That is really, guess what they did? They're hiding their position. But at the end of the day, everyone who's long will get the special dividend. So we're not hiding that we're long. We deserve our dividend. So whoever sold us the stock, your broker, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, they have to give you your dividend by law. You have a statement. You own it by a certain day. You have to get it. Wherever they're hiding it, it's a man on the moon. They need to deliver the dividend. So it's up to Morgan Stanley. They're going to have to give you the dividend. And then they're going to have to go chase down the seller to go find out why they haven't delivered the dividend. If they don't, Morgan Stanley's just going to buy them in. Otherwise, they have to take the liability of it. Hey, listen, I have no problem with Morgan Stanley taking the hit for it. Because after they take the hit for it, what are they going to do? Go buy them in. And you say, how do you know that? Remember that post I put up many times about the gentleman that was short a stock at E-Trade? He didn't have money in his account. He was short a stock at $2. It went to 21. They bought him in. And now he owed E-Trade $120,000. They didn't call him up. They just bought him in. He had no money. They covered him. Why? Because E-Trade didn't want to lose $120,000 because of this account. So by rule, E-Trade covered him. He lost $120,000. He called up screaming, "You can't do this. Too bad. You owe us $120,000." E-Trade then will send their lawyers after him, and they'll, make him sell his house or whatever he has to do to pay him back. That's how it works.
So it's a quiet Friday, quiet trading. Now I'm getting quotes, so I guess it was on strike. It's 102.5.
Huh?
That MLSS is 102.5.
No, it's 102 bid for 900, and 2,500 shares offered at 103.
Yeah.
You get quotes from the future, I hope.
Yeah, I'm getting quotes from the future. I know before anyone else. No, I think there was something wrong for about 20 minutes. It wasn't updating. Anyway, there are no more questions.
Well, What else I wanted to say? Again, I talked about it when I sell MLSS. I'm going to buy a new stock that I'm hearing something on, but I'm not. I'll tell you as soon as I do it. I've not bought a share. I just don't have the capital to move into it. I was kind of hoping MLSS would open up at $9 today from $1.02. That didn't happen. And just to show everyone is that you don't win on every trade. Sometimes the news is great and it doesn't move, but you know what? It moves later on. I just don't know when. When do I give up on the name? I don't know. Everyone is different. I told you before, as soon as I sell MLSS, you know it's going to go straight up.
That's what happens to me.
It happens to everybody. You're not the only person that it happens to.
And if I hold it, it goes down. It's it's a conundrum.
Right.
If I buy it, I overpay.
What else? I had something. I have two other names I wanted to talk about. I'm blank. I'm sorry.
Well, there's the whole stable of nags, ZJYL, GDC.
It was about a bigger stock. I wanted to talk about a bigger stock that could affect
NVIDIA,
the markets.
Tesla.
I think that I can't remember the symbol of it. I think there's a stock that's going to come to the forefront of naked short selling. Not that it's squeezed, but I think the company's going to make a lot of noise on it. I just forgot the symbol of the stupid thing. I heard, it's a $10 stock, and I heard the CEO was going to make noise on it. But it's like one of these weird four-letter symbols I never heard of before. Because the companies are making noise trying to defend their companies, which is a good thing to see because most people are not defending these things. So when they do speak up, I think it's super positive for everybody that companies are speaking up. That guy DNS, even though he's a buffoon, he definitely stood up and tried to help him and expose the situation. He turned it into a shit show. That's a different story. But he did make a lot of noise. But we needed the noise back then, right?
Yeah. Kit thinks DJT is showing technical signs that it's about to go up.
Well, the high was 32.36. I told you, when I think it gets to 35, I think that's when all hell breaks loose at that number. For some reason, I had that number in my head. Doesn't mean anything. So buying it down here, buying it the other day between 30 and 31, you get this quick flip. You can turn it, buy it, and, buy some calls and just close your eyes.
Do you think when the dividend is announced, it'll be simultaneously with a big PR release on a big deal?
I don't know. I've been hearing that there's a big deal coming out early next week. That's all I know. I don't know what it is, but that's the rumor going around.
Who's the next best choice?
And the rumor's coming out of Hong Kong, so I think that's closer to China than we are, right? Closer to mainland China than we are. I'll rephrase that.
Yeah. So who's your best choice for the SEC chairman?
I think it's got to be somebody who hasn't been in the SEC. That's be I don't know. I think it's someone that we need someone who's probably an attorney or accountant, somebody someone who's a good person that wants to clean
Michelle
things up.
Shanahan, RFK's VP candidate, would be good.
I'm just saying that we don't need someone that's been in the SEC, and I don't believe that actually.
How is the finger dividend different from the GTI dividend, which was never paid by the brokers?
So the GTI dividend, and if you all can remember, was that a tradable dividend? I'll wait for the crickets. Nobody's going to say anything. The answer is no. So what's the major thing that's different? That it's going to be tradable. The GTI dividend brokerage firms were telling friends of mine that if they were to exercise when the stock was $9, they were getting it at $2.75. If they were to exercise and buy the shares from the company at $2.75, that they would not accept the shares back into their accounts. So Wall Street was short dividends, and their way of handling was, instead of calling in the short, they basically turned their backs on the investors. That could have made $6 a share. Even if you had 1,000 shares, you would have made $6,000, but they wouldn't let people do it. So you tell me what you think is more fair. So the brokerage firms turned their back on everyone. And meanwhile, the shareholders didn't get a chance, the opportunity to make money, or the company to actually raise more funds. That's thanks to E-Trade, Ameritrade, which they blatantly lied to everybody because they didn't have the dividends to give people. So imagine William wanted to send over, he wanted to convert his 5,000 dividend shares. William would not be able to do it because this brokerage firm didn't have them. So if they didn't have them, they couldn't convert them. And that was their way of protecting themselves. They protected themselves, the brokerage firms, from doing criminal activity by not settling the trades. Instead of going after the short sellers, they basically lied and left all these poor people. Now, the company didn't have the money to take on, major Wall Street brokerage firms over this, One of my good friends passed away by COVID. He was one of those gentlemen that was lied to. He tried every day for us. He was a great guy. He tried every day to get the brokerage firms to give him his dividend, to convert. He did everything he possibly could. And they just told him, if you give the company the money, you're not going to put the stock back in the company. You won't be able to put it and sell it. That's what they did to that guy and to many others. So there's your answer, that the other one will be a dividend that is tradable. Your account has to be journal entry that you're long it because you have it on your statement. So they cannot get around that. Very different. And I look at it this way, and this is my opinion. You may hate the company, you may hate whatever you want to do, but when a company's going to do something this crazy, they're doing it for a reason, and the reason is to expose the shorts. At all costs, that's what it looks to me. So when people say the company's not on our side, they're wrong, completely wrong. The company's doing everything in its power. They knew they got taken by Lynn Partners. They got rid of them. And now they trapped them. So I think this company is head and shoulders above every other company out here that's been trying to fight this thing. And the investors that are long, the big investors that are long and that believe in it, and me and William met a bunch of them. There was a bunch of shareholders there. Both GTI and Finger shareholders that were there, William. Was it you were at a table with 10 of them, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And the people that I knew from Asia that I sat with, they loved everything that was going on. They believe this stock is worth 100 on fundamentals. They don't even talk about the short squeeze. They keep thinking that the way they think in Asia is very different than the way we think, and everybody on this phone call. Their idea is that, hey, let them keep hanging themselves. They're just hanging themselves. Yeah. That's how they think. They know they're right, and they can wait it out. One guy who owned over 1 million shares who wasn't there, who I met, who I played tennis with, he's a big holder, and he buys all the time. Whether he buys 2,000, 3,000, he just keeps accumulating it. He's been doing it for a couple of years, and he says that the Americans are stupid, that they let these shorts manipulate them. He goes, as long as the company's fundamentals are good, you just keep accumulating it. That's what he told me. But he's also a surgeon, has plenty of money, so it's a little different. But that's how he's become very wealthy, by doing things like that. Yeah. And then he beat my ass in tennis. So first he schooled me how to invest, and then he beat me like a drum.
Sorry. That's
That's what.
that was my computer.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Let's see. David doesn't think that Gary Gensel will sign off on the finger dividend. I don't agree with you, but I understand how you feel.
I think that's completely false.
Bill sold finger today to buy XRP. Okay. You got to do what you got to do.
That's how it goes.
We're not all Rockefeller. Even Rockefeller couldn't own everything. He always told his people no other stock except Exxon. And it was called Esso, I think, or whatever the hell it was. Standard Oil, it was called.
Hey, listen, what for the gentleman that just bought XRP? Can you tell us what you paid for it?
The top, he said. No, he doesn't say.
I just like to mark it down. So in a future reference, I want to see where XRP is on the day. We know you sold finger around 2. So where did you pay for XRP? I like to
160, 170. I don't know.
Okay, good. I'm just curious. I'm going to use you as a reference.
Mark's insistent on knowing what your favorite part of Thanksgiving is.
What's my favorite part of Thanksgiving?
I'm sure it's the football.
Nah, I really ain't care. I enjoyed turkey and stuffing. I enjoyed it. Apple pie, I enjoyed it.
Changing your grandson's diaper.
He wasn't around. I was without him, so that would have been my favorite part. But he's upstate New York with the in-laws.
My favorite part used to be my stepmother's coleslaw, but it's been a long time.
Nah, listen, it's what it is, you know. All right, if no one else has anything else to say, we're all going to go into this holiday weekend. You got a couple of days. I just want to let you know that I'm watching MLSS. You know, I can't believe it's not moving. I can't. You know, it's just remarkable.
It's a dead day. It's a bad day to trade unless
No,
you're.
I'm not saying that. Just listen. I'm like you. I'm like everyone else. I'm impatient. You know, like the gentleman sold his finger to buy XRP. He wants action. I got it.
Well, that's what Mark Faber said when he was talking about precious metals. But he said they're not going up because people want to go buy the stocks that are moving, NVIDIA, Tesla, whatever's moving.
Buying XRP. So
XRP.
My
experience with chasing stocks that are moving, eventually it bites you in the rear end. And MLSS is 103. But on the other hand, you can be wrong. You can be sitting in a stock that doesn't do anything forever. And it's how money managers think too, because their bonus is based on being in the top quintile or the top quartile. And the only way to do it is own the same stocks the next guy owns or the next girl
That's
owns.
what they all have to do. They all have to do the same thing. They have to listen. I was on a trading desk, a block trading desk, and hedge funds moved. The more they moved, the bigger the party I had. I was getting 6 cents a share. They buy 200,000 XRP, goes up a quarter, they flip it, they buy something else, 6 cents in, 6 cents out. They got to keep paying the toll. That's all it counts. They assumed the risk. We executed the orders, and we got compensated for it. The more you moved it around, I didn't give a shit if you bought a stock at $50 and sold it at 60 or sold it at 40. It didn't make a difference to me. I had nothing to do with the input on those positions, and they just moved it around. And I used to cover Alliance Capital. I forget how much money they had behind them, but boy, did they move things around. But I just remember one of the, they bought 1 million shares or something to us. We had to put it into their accounts. And we would get the plumbers union, the carpenters union. They had all this union money. So they would say, put 180,000 shares here, 200,000 here, 40,000 here. And they broke it down to all those different accounts. But they bought 1 million shares, but you had to get an average price. And then split it up in all those accounts.
I used to stay late to write those tickets. Do you think they pay? They don't pay 6 cents a share anymore.
No, it's less than that's why there's no more business.
There's no more business.
It's all managed money now. So if you're a broker at Morgan Stanley, they want you to just to go out there and get money, bring it into the firm, and then have Morgan Stanley take that money and have their own in-house money managers that they approve manage that money.
Yeah.
So it stays all in-house. That's what they do now. And if you go out and meet brokers, 9 out of 10 brokers don't have any idea what's going on in the stock market. All they want to do is get you to have your 40 or 50 person firm, do their pension planning, everything with this firm, manage their monies, their pension money.
And they have glossy brochures.
Right. They never get caught up in the scandal. They're always good. They're always 100%. It's like Jeff Houston. He's always 100%. He's up 220%. Warren Buffett, the greatest money manager ever known to mankind. What's he up, 30%? Jeff Houston's up 220%.
Yeah.
I always look at their stocks, KNW, GMGI, 2 names. You have to be criminally insane to buy those stocks. They're under complete control of Jeff Easton and his crew of naked short selling. They both have debt spiral financing on both of them. And the other day, that guy, I forget the guy's name, was just busted by the SEC. He was an unregistered toxic lender, death note guy. He sold 11 billion shares of stock into the system. Being an unregistered, no one even knew who he was. The SEC finally caught him after 4 years. After 4 years. Think about that guy's life, all the money he was stealing, and all the everyone's life that he destroyed. And the SEC finally caught him. He sold 11 billion shares. You think there'd be some sort of whistle? Hey, this guy's selling stock. He has no stock in his portfolio, but he sold 11 billion shares as the private.
And Wagner wants to protect his privacy.
Right.
No consolidated audited trail, because that guy has a privacy right to destroy the stock.
Right.
11 billion shares.
11 billion. The guy has no shares in his account, and all of a sudden he's naked shorting and converting 11 billion shares of stock at the lows.
MLSS, $1, 10,000 to buy at $1. 4,100 to sell at 102.
I can't even get out even.
You turned a winning trade into a loser.
Ah, Jesus.
Nobody's at their desks. They're off in Cancun and
Right. Well, again, like I said, when I get an opportunity, I'm going to use that as a source of funds to buy a new stock.
and Stad.
And the other stock is not moving. It's doing nothing. It's traded 5,000 shares today. And when I do it, I'll let you know. This way you know exactly what I paid for it.
Here in Philadelphia, it's worth $50.
So I'll leave everybody with this. We got 45 days to the trading day. I think FingerMotion is lights out, a monster play. I told you that GameStop, I believe, was a sale only because I think that it's sort of like the company, I can't believe the company hasn't sold another 100 million shares to rake in another $1 billion, whatever he's done, if there is that big a short left in it. And, you know, the company cannot become the short squeeze stock forever. The company has to build a business. They were given the gift of life, and I think that they know that. I think Ryan Cohen knows it, and I think that he has to build a business. And I think that's what he's going to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if anyone called him up and wanted to buy 50 million shares at $20 again and raise $1 billion, that he would do it in a second. That's my opinion on it. And I think that's why a lot of hedge funds aren't charging into it, because I think that everyone believes that eventually is going to happen. Now the stock is trading down to 29.15. Is anyone seeing any news about maybe something like that happening? Maybe they've been approached again about raising more capital. I don't know. Because it's trading down $2 after being so strong. Somebody knows.
I'm
something.
sure they're gonna hit the bid, take a deal, and they'll build up their cash. And Cohen's so smart. The stock's got to be worth 100.
Right. I mean, I just think that there's too much. Listen, if I'm him, I'm selling the stock and raising the money.
Of course, it sets him up for life, and then he's got to pull the money.
Well, he can swing for the fences and do what he has to do. He has tons of money. The company was going to zero, everybody, if anyone doesn't remember.
He's going to be a big swinging, whatever.
But he was going to zero. That company was going to zero. And Wall Street helped him out, helped the company out, squeezed the shorts, and it just went out of control. And now it's been a 5-year story. And the company
Jack sold his GME. I think you could put some of that money in DJT and get a return on that, but nothing's guaranteed.
So if you sold some of that, you want to buy DJT. Let's say you're buying 1,000 shares. You buy 250 shares right now at 31, 36, whatever. And if it pulls back on a sell-off, you add to it. At least you get your toe in the water and you own something. That's the way to do it. And then you can start averaging down on it. But again, if you did own GameStop at 27, 25, 29, remember this stock traded from 80 down. There's a lot of dead bodies in there from 80 down on that last squeeze. It went to $18 and it's now recovered. And people that are in it for a long time, you say, hey, you want me to get my money off the table? You don't have to be diamond hands forever. Understand what's in front of you. That's the most important thing. Most people do not understand what's going on. Anything else, William? Any combination of any news, anything you'd like to know? I discussed the days to cover on the short interest on FingerMotion.
I just want to know what you think. If they thought they could win, what would they do?
Well, it's like anything else. If you're short a stock, why would you short it lower if you control the whole game? It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
These guys are so stuck. All they keep trying to do is move them lower. The same pattern every day. Stock pops up a little bit, hurry up, sell it back down. Stock pops up a little bit, sell it back down. FingerMotion, the short sellers are giving you the keys to the castle there, the kingdom. They're telling you at $2.30, they're fucked. How do we know that? Stock ran to 240. They pushed it down as fast as they could to get it below that number. Before they did it, the stock ran to 318, and the number was higher as 250 going back a couple of months. The stock exploded past it. They pushed it down as fast as they could back down again. Why wouldn't you keep selling it at 3 or 4? Keep getting people to pay more for it. Obviously, if it goes higher, they get more money for it, right? But they can't because they can't afford the positions. And yes, margin is for real. If you don't have the money to back the trade, they shut you down. That's what it's all about. Who's giving them the leverage in FingerMotion? Who's giving Jeff Easton the money? Is it Jeffries? Does he have a couple of prime brokers? We know Jeffries has been listed as one of their primes. It's in one of their documents. And if Jeffries is listed, and when this thing does bust, Jeffries is a stock that's going to get crushed. All right, just like BIRT. Once they start settling trades, BIRT is going to be worthless. You say, come on, it's $37. They have no business. All they do is make it short. They're an over-the-counter trading firm that does naked short selling. And they're being sued right now by West Christian for spoofing. And that guy, Pete, the Polish assassin, that guy Pete from Philly, has been torturing Dirty Doug about it. And he's getting furious. They're threatening to sue people. They don't want anybody to talk about him. They don't want anybody to negative. These guys robbed everybody. His whole life. He bought a NHL hockey team with stolen money. Naked shorting. That's it. Him, Ken Griffin. I told you, they're all like Scarface. They steal the money and they're spending it on assets, probably things that they have secured that they can't be taken away from them. That's why these guys have those big houses in Florida. And if you always look at FingerMotion, we do talk about FingerMotion a lot, and I'm sorry about it. But again, this is a life-changing trade that we have to follow every gory detail. I know it sucks. I got it. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. But we have these guys tracked. That guy can't cover 1.7 million. We have 70,000 shares trading today. Good luck covering 1.6 million. Even with 70,000 shares, I'll give them that volume today. How many days it's going to take to cover that? 70,000 a day, right?
Right.
It's going to be 20 days, right? 20, 25 days. That's if they bought every share. And we all know about it. There's no trading in the stock. I can't believe someone's hitting MLSS at $1. It's unbelievable.
Can you explain the benefit of hiding finger shares offshore? Do they not have to pay margin on those shares?
No, it's all free. We can go to Spain tomorrow. We can do all this trading for free. Listen, people, everyone who is holding or assisting the criminals has got their fingers in their pockets. Everyone, anything to do with Wall Street, you have to pay. No one, you can hide FingerMotion shares short wherever you like. No one's going to let you hold that position without having margin money to hold it. Because whoever is holding the position, all right, is liable for the short. So if you're short 10 million shares and the stock is 2, you're going to have to put up 20, 30, 40, $50 million as margin money. If the stock is 2, they may require $3 a share in margin money. So that the prime broker, whoever's holding this position, is protected up to $5. They have your 2 plus your 3. It's 5. If the stock goes to 3, they may say, hey, you got to put up another $1. You may put up another $2. It's a make-believe number that they make up at any time. That all depends on the person lending them the money. And it's a tough job. I couldn't do it because I am not a short seller. When the stock ticks up a little bit, I'd be calling in to cover because I'm afraid that my firm, just an example, Credit Suisse, let it get too wild. What happened to them? Everyone at that firm was fired. They lost everything because they let criminal activity was the number one source of income at Credit Suisse. And when they got caught and it blew up, Everyone who worked at Credit Suisse all those years lost their jobs. Secretaries, bank, everybody there. Anyone that was doing a good job lost their job over fraud. And that's what happens. It happens all the time. And so DJT is holding up. And GameStop is falling down. But they really knocked it down on option expiration. The stock that had the 30 calls that when the stock was 31 today, it was probably worth $1.50. They're wiped out. Now they're going after the 29 calls, who are probably $2, $2.50. They're getting wiped out. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. Look how crazy this game is that they can use options to manipulate stocks, for a day. Every week, every Friday they do it. Sometimes they get squeezed up. Sometimes they win and knock them all down.
Everything's a play thing.
Everything is a play thing, 100%. That's what's going on. You know what the funny thing is on FingerMotion? I always look at it. It's 2 bids for 200 shares, and there's always a seller. 2,800, 3,400, 2,200. There's always a seller. Remember, like the gentleman who just sold his XRP. I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to keep referencing you. Not for any negative. I'm just trying to show you that he sold his FingerMotion today. He's moved on.
Right.
So there's no reason to be here anymore because we do talk about FingerMotion all the time. That's number one. But once you sell it, you're no longer involved. You can't. But then what are you standing around it for? There's no reason. And investors longs do move away and give up on it. That's how the equity market is. Like once I sell my MLSS, I'm not getting a spinal tap. I really don't give a shit about it. All right, I'm here because I believe that the company has a big market of people that need a spinal tap. But I really don't give a shit about it. I'm here to make money. But if that's not going to work for me, then I move along. I'm not going to sit here and keep saying, hey, could you talk about MLS anymore? There's nothing to say. I bought it. I bought it for a reason. They got the epidural treatment. It's in place. Now the revenue comes in, and it depends how long I want to stay for it. Do I want to stay for a year, or do I want to move on to something else? That gentleman sold his FingerMotion because he wants to jump into XRP.
He sold some of it. Some of it.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not being negative. I'm just saying this is part of the world. That's how it works. That's how the stock market works, which is fine with me. I got it. I'm not being negative about it. That's like, listen, people sell it. Everyone has to sell it. You can't, life moves on. Someone passes away. You got to close out their account. Listen, I've had people, I had their wives call me up. Their husbands passed away. And, what did we do with the stocks? And I tell them straight out, sell it. You know nothing about it. There's no reason that you should be, you just had a death in the family. Do close up what you have to do and go enjoy your life. If your husband was the, FingerMotion or GTI holder, listen, I got someone out of GTII at $8. The gentleman passed away and his wife asked me what to do. And, he was up, $5 in it. And, he made $50,000, I think he made. And I said, please sell it. Go do what you have to do. Enjoy your life. And it turned out perfect for him. I mean, I don't want to see the guy die, but that's what happens. But what question about XRP for everybody? If this is supposed to be the world-renowned, whatever it's going to be, how did it not go from $1.70 and just be $10 already? Where is that tsunami of Bitcoin was going up a couple $1,000s a day? That's the only thing that's got me baffled about.
I guess it'll
Not
come.
that I know much about it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, how come people, how come JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs is sitting here and just, listen, I don't know if you've ever seen when these guys want to get into a name, they look like NVIDIA of 10 points or a Tesla of $40 a day. This thing's $1.60, $1.70. Why ain't they been $3, $4 already? Gap it up already. I mean, it's pretty well known that it's going to be used, whatever. Countries are getting behind it now, whatever it is. How is it not jumping like crazy? That's my only question about it. I don't know what about. Maybe someone can answer that. I don't know. Because if it's a race to get ownership of this thing before it goes to $50 or $1,000, wherever they say it's going to go, how are they not taking it? I think everyone's pretty much. I think everyone, besides me and you, are pretty versed on crypto stuff, right? Many years ago, it was a mystery to most people.
I studied it a bit, but I had my chance to buy Bitcoin. I didn't do it.
No, I'm not saying that we missed. I'm not saying you missed it. I'm just saying that everyone is pretty educated on what's going on in crypto now, right? How is this thing not jumping? And to me, when I see it like on a day like today, how is it not $3, $4, $5 already? You want to buy $1 billion worth of the thing? Just go out and buy it.
So I was reading yesterday, after long-term capital management, the powers that be had a chance to change things, but instead of banning derivatives and minimizing over leverage, Congress repealed Glass-Steagall, allowed banks to act like hedge funds. They repealed Schwab's regulation. I don't know what that is, which meant that you could trade derivatives on anything, but they increased broker-dealer leverage from 15 to 1 to 30 to 1. Is that what's out there now? 30 to 1? It's probably worse than that at broker-dealers.
I'm sure it's worse than that. Listen, a market that goes straight up like this, these guys have been probably, most of the stocks have been just held down. The few that are going up, they've been hurting, like a Tesla or NVIDIA. It's kind of, they got them by the balls. But for the most part, these guys keep selling all these other names. It's like ridiculous. William, I have to go to the little boys' room. Can I hang up and call you back in 2 minutes? I have a couple
Only if you wash your hands.
Give me a few minutes. I'll call you right back.
Swell.
Call ended.
Ah, that's interesting. That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. The news out of Hong Kong could be very exciting. That's cool. I wonder if it's about the insurance or if it's more of a larger, it's related to the first. Anyway, that emergency vehicle thing comes in the series of contracts, townships, states, whatever. Maybe it's one of those. Did I look at AVXL? No, I wrote it. Oh, no, I didn't write it down. All right, so AVXL, Alzheimer oral, heavy short ratio. That's a good, that looks like a good story. I don't know. I didn't study it. I forgot. Oh, that's a cornball joke. Here, let's see. While he's gone, since you've been gone, all that's left is a band of gold of the love we
want to talk about today is the U.S. Treasury or the debt situation. And I'm wondering, Clive, and I'm not trying to be negative, but a realist, whether there's a kind of a debt time bomb that could be detonated in the next year or so, and mainly because of mathematics. We have a lot of debt to be issued by the U.S. Treasury, debt to be rolled over, and the current administration under Yellen's leadership has been aggressive in issuing short-term debt,
Hang on one second.
which has made it really,
Hang on.
is
Relax, everyone. Okay, let me get you on the speaker. Stupid speaker went away. Hang on. Yeah, here. Hang on. Everything's
Battery
all right.
70%.
There we go.
Connected to Bill's iPhone.
All right. All right. You're on.
So
You're on.
I got a call on the old men's room break, and there is a story going around that GameStop is going to raise more money. That's why the stock sold off. He has no idea, but he's heard it on the street. So I just want to let you know that the shorts could be using that as a rumor to knock it down. I don't know, but that's what's going around. So I knew something was fishy there. That's what the story is there.
And you notice it's like a bouncing ball that they start selling out at ever lower bounces. It's not a good stock to hope for a squeeze.
Well, listen, it's listen. If you could dance around the games, understand the game.
Buy the dip, sell the rip.
Buy the dip, sell the rip, and if you did that, the stock is going up $10. I have a few people that probably made $15 in the same 10-point move. How's that one?
Yeah.
Buy the dip, sell the rip, make 60 cents, make 80 cents. Some made $1. And they've done it so many times in the last month, they probably made $15 in the stock. People that own the stock have made nothing because they're not selling it. And, you know, if these guys have made more money buying the dip, sell the rips. That's what Wall Street people do. So again, thank you for the gentleman that reached out to give me the heads up about the GameStop attack, why it's happening. I do not know if it's true. Makes sense to me that he would do it, but I don't know. Just be careful if you're in it. You know, you can buy. I personally, I like to buy the dips. You know, when they sell them off like this, unless it's a headline news. You know, but someone always knows, and if I don't know who the banker was in doing all those deals. Somehow I got this notion it was Jeffries. I can't remember, but I think it was Jeffries doing the secondaries on GameStop. And if I worked at Jeffries on the trading desk and I heard that we're going to do another, we're going to sell another 100 million shares of this nonsense, so 50 million shares. You know those guys that's telling their friends to sell it. That's why I keep trying to tell you, people always hear it and they know about it. So for those who never worked on Wall Street, everyone speaks. I don't care who you are. Information flows all the time. You just got to be tapped into the right sources. All these big hedge funds, they all know about it. And there's always been stories about some of the bigger players on the street. You had to bring them information or else you get shit from them. They would never give you an order. Not that I know anything about that, but that's how it used to work. That's how the big boys always get first call. I remember a trader running $1 billion something for a big player. Him and his partner were shorting Amazon and all those high-tech internet stocks way back in the day when they were flying. And they got busted for insider trading. And the story is that his partner's wife was the head analyst at Lehman. And she was giving the tipping them off when they were upgrading the internet stocks or downgrading them. Now, for those who don't know, guys like Jeff Easton probably used to get the call that, they said Yahoo was a $300 stock, and these things would go up and down $25 at a clip when they were upgraded or downgraded. Anyway, these two knuckleheads got caught shorting it. I think they made, I'll just make up a number. I think it was somewhere north of 500,000 to $5 million range on a short. And when the SEC caught them, they said that the gentleman whose wife was the analyst said she never told them anything. The court was questioning whether they, at night when they're home, did she never say anything? He said no, and they got away with it. And everybody knew where the information was coming from. These guys should have been thrown away a long time ago. That's how it worked on that stuff. That's how that worked. Hold on a second. So let's just recap. We got 15 minutes to go. We might as well finish up the day. Everyone here, FingerMotion is 2 to 202. We're hearing next week that the rumor that the company is going to announce another major revenue deal. Let's hope it's true. I happen to believe that something is coming. I just don't know when, what it is. We also know that the company said mid-December, the special dividend will be submitted to the SEC for their approval, and we should get a record date and all that stuff coming out. We also have DJT basically stating they're going after short sellers, and I think whoever they pick to be the head of the SEC, I think we will hear a lot of noise on naked short selling. And I think criminals like Jeff Easton are just hanging on by a thread. And they're definitely going to be not long for this world. And they're going to get busted here. That's what I hear about those type of things. GameStop, I just told you, we're hearing that the rumor on the street is that they're raising more money. I don't know if that's true, but I'm not involved, nor do I care. Just passing along what I heard. Nothing to do with it, so don't ask me. MLSS, great news. I paid $1. It's 1 to 102, and I'm eating crow. And that one, any other issues? ZJYL, XY, what the hell it's called? ZJYL, GDC. When I hear something new, I will report on it. What else do we follow in, William? People, I follow many stocks, but I don't talk about them all the time because I'm not complete. I don't have every gory detail on them. The ones I speak about are the ones that I understand 100%. So I do follow the GameStops. I don't follow AMC. Ever since the CEO sold everyone out, you can't get any more. I went to the movies the other night. I made my donation to AMC. All those people, my family went to the movies. My girls went to see Wicked. I went to see Gladiator. And the theaters were packed. People were buying popcorn, doing everything you have to do. I don't think you get any more people in the theater. And they have. The stock is still in the same spot. You can't get any. People were busting out the doors. Every show, all the shows were sold out. And still the stock doesn't move. So, it's obvious that the most important thing that moves the stock is the short squeeze. MLSS has great news. Everyone that's having babies needs a epidural. They need it to be precision, have the needle in the right spot, or you have all kinds of complications. No one cares. GameStop was squeezing up because everyone thought it was going to squeeze until the CEO pulled the plug on them. I don't know. DJT has got tremendous upside. People hate the company. People hate Donald Trump. Yet the stock is 31.60. I think that because of the technical issue of the naked shorts, that this thing is going to have a big monster move soon. And I think Donald Trump is going to speak about naked short selling. We told you we heard about that. FingerMotion, I addressed that again. I think FingerMotion is, I'm just so giddy about it. I'm sorry, William, but I've been doing this for 24 years. This is coming to an end. I feel very at ease with it. I feel comfortable about it. I think this shit's going to hit the fan, and I think FingerMotion is going to be a top. I think it's going to make a lot of news. I think it's going to be in the newspapers, and I think William's going to be a star for exposing this. As I drift into the darkness, you won't see me anymore when it all ends, and I'm going to go enjoy my life after this. I've been doing it for 24 years, fighting, exposing this. I feel terrible. Pat Byrne was supposed to be here with us, but obviously he put up a video this morning where he's talked about his life and that he's beat cancer a few times. And, we saw him in the hospital the other day, and the guy's done nothing but more than to help fight naked shorts. You can go to his site, Deep Capture, you can see it there. He helped fight for the U.S., the country, exposing the Dominion voting machines and all the criminals behind it. The guy's been nothing but a trooper, an ace, and you know what? Here it is. Great guy, and he's been, fighting for his health the whole time. And the most important thing in everyone's life is your health. And, it's just sad that criminals running around and Griffin, all these idiots, just stealing money. And Pat Byrne's not like that at all. This guy's put up videos. I've been at conferences with him. He's been at big conferences, small conferences. He always shows up and he tells the story. Great guy. So I want nothing more than this. It just feels like this is going to happen because I think it's going to happen for Pat Byrne. I think Pat Byrne has educated Devin. I think that, people that I know have educated Devin Nunes on it, and I think they're going to make a big stink about it. And I think it's going to work. And I think that you got to go find your stocks. You got to go make your bets now. Do not wait. If you want to get involved, find whatever stock you think it's going to work for you. But get involved. I think the shit's going to hit the fan. We're going against the January 20th deadline. We got Trump in, which was important. And now we need to see him finish the job. And I think you're going to get it. And your signs are what? That his stock is going to start to move? Well, stock's up $1.24 today. I think the bells are ringing. The dinner bells are ringing. Go find what you need, what you can afford, and take a shot. As they say, as we used to say on Wall Street, William, take a shot. Lincoln did. That's what we used to always say. For those who don't understand that joke. But I think it's showtime, and I think there's life-changing trades right in front of you. Life-changing trades that can happen in a second. I just think about that stock, DRUG. It went from $2 until he took a nice pull up $5. It went from $2 to $79 like in 2 days. And it's still hanging around at $45. So it was doing nothing, 2 to 79. So just be aware, they do go from 2 to 100. GameStop went from $3.75 to 5 something. These things do happen. And those people that were involved in it made a fortune. Life-changing. Look at Roaring Kitty sitting in his basement, had no money, no home, renting a house. Now he's buying 3 million shares of stock. I still don't know how that happens, but whatever. Life-changing situations. He was in it for what? Because of a video game? He had no idea about what naked short selling was. Everyone here, if you're following us and listening to us, all we talk about is naked short selling. All we talk about. We know the ins, the outs, everything about it. People in AMC talk about the CEO is helping. The CEO doesn't give a shit. And I think that's what's going to happen with. GameStop. That Ryan Cohen say, hey, listen, man, I can't keep talking about this naked short selling shit anymore. Raise another $1 billion and let's build a real company and just go for it. I don't know how old the guy is, maybe he's 40, 45 years old. Let's build a company. I'm here for 20 years. We got enough money for 20 years. Or 10 years if he wants to do it. And I think that's what's going to happen there. DJT, I think Donald Trump is going to torture them. And I think that the stock is going to scream. And I think that the company is going to sell shares to the shorts, DJT. And that's when Donald Trump will sell out his shares. He'll be part of a group, and they'll sell them and say, hey, you know what? They called us up. We sold it. I'm out, blah, 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 blah. but the company will have, $1 billion in the bank, and same type of thing that's going on with GameStop. FingerMotion, I think FingerMotion is going to scream. The company has no stock on the shelf to sell to any short. Zero. It expired. When this stock runs, the only people that are going to be selling is everyone on this phone looking in the mirror. You're it. You're the seller. When you want to sell it back to the shorts, you're here. The company would have to make statements, filings, everything in order to sell shares. You will know everything about it. Right now, the only sellers that are going to be there is going to be us. That's the beauty of what's going on there. They're out of the market. There's nothing going on, and they can't do a thing. All right, that S3 is expired, so they have no access to do at-the-market offerings, so there's nothing that can stop it. You'll get the heads up. If the company says they're going to raise capital, we'll all get the heads up on it. I think that's unbelievable. But they're doing a nice job. They must be spreading that rumor really far around the street on a slow day. And that's why I always say, when the ducks quack, feed them, sell it to them, sell the rips, buy the dips. Anything else, William? I think I covered everything that we do cover. MLSS, once again. Oh, you turned it into a loser, William. Thank you, William.
Well, you had your chance.
I had my chance, William. Thank you. I went from being up 2 cents, now I'm down 3 pennies. And that just shows you that how much Wall Street gives a shit about what a company does. They don't care. And there's the example of it right there. CELU, I remember that guy who was working on infectious disease. His stock reversed it. He reversed his stock when I was there. Told him not to. He did. It went to $8. It's $1.96 now. Right? Complete round trip again. That's what happens with the reverses. It just restarted over again. We got 6 minutes to go, everyone. Like I said, I think the action's going to start in all these names next week. I do not include GameStop in it. It's on its own. Again, I think there's a good possibility, me and Williams discussed it many times, that the company would raise more money. Again, Wall Street today, the rumors around that they're going to raise more money. I don't know if it's true or false, but it's not my thing. If I'm trading, I'll be buying I always buy the blow off like this, just for a flip back. If I could buy it at 29, sell it at 29 and a quarter, 30, you buy 1,000 shares, you make $300. I can take the 300,000, buy calls for next week, and have a free shot for next week and not pay attention to it. Remember, the more free shots you have on Wall Street, the better you are. Anything else, William? Anyone have any questions? No? William?
No, there's not much.
XRP, where is it now? XRP, for the gentleman that just bought it, what's it called? XRP. 1.70861. Whatever the hell that means. What's Bitcoin doing today? Do they actually work together? I don't even know.
Fluctuating.
Does Bitcoin and XRP have anything together? They mean anything together? I don't even know.
They're the same type of investment. XRP is a payment system, and I guess somebody said here it has some sort of lawsuit with the SEC for 2 years, which is coming to an end.
Does it have anything to do with the treatment of medical issues, XRP? I don't know.
No. It could be
People are buying a payment system.
it could be an alternative to the dollar. And
So I guess it's a big
XRP.
thing.
Zach says XRP moves with XLM. And Ham doesn't know what Ethereum is. It could be a movie for all he knows.
I met the biggest holder of Ethereum in the world. He lives in Dorado Beach. I met him.
Yeah.
He was worth 6 or 7 billion back then. I don't know what it is today. But,
XRP will replace Swift.
Oh, the Swift system. Wow, that's a big thing then. Well, congratulations. If you bought it and you're making money, good luck. I wish you the best. All right, so again, I'll just leave it. It's 12:57. We got 3 minutes to go. FingerMotion is firm. 203 to 204. Remember, 230, $2.30 to make the real short. That's his number. I will drop that number next week to 225. And the real short, the naked short, I think I have it at 380 or 385. I'm going to drop that down a few pennies also. Time keeps eating those guys alive. They don't even realize it. They're being eaten alive by the cost to carry. Nothing else. MLS up. Back to even, William. MLSS is trading like NVIDIA now. Up, down, sideways, all over the place. Everyone got the scoop on GameStop, what's going around the street today. I gave you that heads up. MLSS, we're here. We know what it's about. We know the news. To me, the news is earth-shattering. Why isn't it going? I have no idea. Someone is obviously short this thing because you can't have this selling every day on a company that has this type of great news. Retail investors do not, or institutional investors not sitting here. Well, it was $1 before the news came out, and it doesn't make any sense to sell it here unless you need it for a source of funds. I don't think everybody does need that. And that's about it, right? That's all I have to say. We got another 10 trading days before our dividend. I gather should be out. So next week is December. So we got, mid-December is, 5, 10 more days. Take away the weekends, you got 10 trading days. Hopefully the audit is ready and we can't hold them to it. But we expect it to come out mid-December. That's around December 15th. And let me just take a look at my calendar here for a second, William. Yeah, next week is Monday's the 2nd. The 13th is 2 Fridays from now. So the 15th is on Saturday, or Sunday, excuse me. So we're right there. And then there's only 5 more days before the Christmas break. So the whole thing is we have 15 trading days to go before the Christmas break. That's not a lot of trading days to cover in FingerMotion to cover 230 million or 1.6 million shares. They only have 15 trading days to go. A little different than DJT. They're waiting for January 20th. We don't even have to wait for them. We just need the record date. The record date, the dividend date, that's all we need to know. Once we know that date, everyone is locked in. All right, listen, it's a holiday weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Today's Friday. We got Saturday, Sunday. We got a long weekend, and we'll touch base on Monday. If I hear anything, I will reach out to William. We'll go live over the weekend. We may do it Sunday, William, because I'd love to be ready for Monday. So I'll put my feelers out to the big holders and see if they're hearing anything that we have to know for Monday. And maybe we'll get some clarity on the GameStop, why it sold off. Maybe we can hear about that. Or maybe we can keep digging through the Devin Nunes crowd to find out when Trump's going to speak about naked short selling, or the guy Atkins coming in as the new chair. I told you I threw him under the bus on Twitter. He was a commissioner in 2002 to 2008 under Chris Cox, Senator Chairman Cox, and who we did the video on about naked short selling. I was fraudulent. And I would love to get his take on it. What did he do as a commissioner back then? Because he's in the same spot as Hester Pierce. She's a commissioner. why are they so tight-lipped about making short selling and fraud? We'll try to get those answers for everyone. All right, William, listen, have a great day. I'm going to go get lunch, and we'll have a great weekend, everyone.
All right, thank you.
You got it.
Okay, I'm out of energy. I was gonna show you I don't know, 5 or 7 minutes of talking about the debt. I'm not going to do it. I'll just point out to you a stock I told you about earlier this week. Next Trip, NTRP. N is in Nancy, T is in Tom, R is in Robert, P is in Paul. Closed at 382, up 82 cents. Up 82 cents. I'll try to do a video on it, but just looking at the chart, it looks like it's about to break out and could have a hell of a run. I don't know if there's a large short position or not, but the way the stock is traded, maybe there is. Anyway, I'll try to do a some sort of short presentation on NTRP, Next Trip. It looks good. And I'm going to sign out and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in. And I guess we'll see you Sunday. Ham wants to talk to you Sunday. We'll come back on Sunday. So thanks to you.